Hi everybody, good afternoon. I'm just having a look, see who we've got. I hope you're all okay. Enid, Jackie, Hazel, May, Amanda, Marilyn, June, Salma, anyone else that I've missed? Hello, I hope you're having a lovely day. I think the weather's a bit miserable for a lot of people, isn't it? So hopefully we can bring a little bit of sunshine for you this afternoon. Oh, lots of you telling me that today on the group and on the chat here that you're getting your deliveries of your Friends Forever collection. So that's really, really great news. And I've got another demonstration for you with the fuchsia spray today and some of those painterly backgrounds. And I can't remember who it was, so I do apologise, but somebody asked me, shout up if you're here, somebody asked me how to stamp with the confetti inks. So we're going to do a background stamp with the confetti ink. So that's really good. I hope that answers a few questions for you. Joe, yours is out for delivery as well. You've got yours, Enid. Fantastic. So a couple of little bits of news. You may have seen yesterday on my social media, I put a little advert about some new confetti inks that are coming soon. So I'll give you some more details next week about when those are coming up. So the ones that you've just seen that were restocked, that sold out earlier in the year, were the metallics. And these new ones are called Double Up. So they're like a smooth watercolour, but because they're called Double Up and they've got double the pigment in, you can use them in not just a standard watercolour way with plenty of water and that lovely translucent watercolour look, but you can use them with barely any water, and they're really quite opaque and you can build them up. And they look more like acrylic when they're dried then, but they haven't got that thickness, and that some people find acrylic difficult to use, me included, and that kind of gloopy texture I struggle with sometimes when I want to do quite detailed work and colour my stamps. So I'm hoping that you're really going to enjoy them. So there'll be tons coming up on those, and some more demonstrations as well. Liz, you got your embossing powders? Fantastic. Last bit of news before we start crafting is the Sunday shows. I've just recorded one for you for this Sunday, 1 o'clock as always. And we've now got live chat on that as well. So instead of you just having to comment and then we're all having to refresh so we can see each other, you're going to have your normal live chat, and I'm going to be able to chat along with you live while we watch it together. So that'll be really, really fun. So just a quick one, if you haven't seen me before, my name's Claire Manning from Thirsty Brush. Do subscribe to the Stamps by Me channel below, and you will get all of the notifications for Tony's videos, obviously from Stamps by Me, and you get Carly's Armala videos and Simon's Avogo videos as well. So throughout the whole week, between here and Create and Craft and our own YouTubes and stuff, there's always something to watch. Hazel said, have you picked a name for Sunday show yet? Oh gosh, I haven't officially named it, have I? Because Thursdays is Thirsty Thursday. No, I'll do that before Thursday for you. I'm always late on a Sunday, dishing out the Sunday dinner. Nola, I always go shopping just before the live, and a couple of weeks I've got caught in the queue and been a bit late. So don't worry, the great thing about these is, yes, the live chat will be there, but of course the video will be there for you to watch and catch up on if you can't make it live. But we'd love to see you if you can. So let's have another look at, this is one of the really popular ones from Saturday watching. I had loads of good fun. I really hope you managed to get hold of anything before it sold out. Hi Liz, and anyone else that's joined late. Vicky, don't worry if you're here late. So I've got the fuchsia spray, and then obviously that comes with the dies. We'll have a further look at the dies. I've just shoved them in my packet there, and we're going to look at these painterly backgrounds. So I think I might do the stripes with the confetti ink and see if that works out okay for us. But let's do the fuchsias first. I want to use the technique that you've probably seen Tony use before with her soulful stamps. That works really well for any kind of floral, most kind of outline stamps like this where you've got an image too. So she uses her Gossip watercolour pens. So I'm going to be doing the same. And I've picked kind of classic fuchsia colours here. I've got 60, which is a pink. Is that 80 or 08, I think it's 08 for a purple. And then I've got 2 greens for the leaves, 11 and 15, if you want to use the same. And I'm going to use, let's stamp all of the larger bits. I don't know, I haven't decided whether I want a decoupage yet. In fact, let's go wild, let's do them all. And see how much we can fit on the card. So I've just got an A5 piece of card here. I'm using a spritz of water. Hi Tracy and anyone else that's joined late. But you don't necessarily have to use watercolour card. I tend to use this kind of 300 DSM. It's just kind of standard card. It's not your super smooth like you use with your alcohol markers. But you know, it's not watercolour card either. You don't have to buy something special. You can always have a go with this technique with what you've got and see if that works. So let's go back to colouring in the stamp here. So you'll see I'm using, like Tony does, the brush nib end of the pen and kind of on its side, and I'm looking at where the flowers are and the lines of the flowers, and I'm going to add a bit of pink. I'm not going over every line because I'm going to mix it with a bit of purple, but I'm just adding very, very rough bit of colour. Doesn't matter if you get it in the wrong place, it all kind of blends together anyway. So add a bit of purple, same thing, just going where I haven't got any colour yet on the flowers, not touching the leaves at this point. Did any of you grab some stuff from Tony's sale show as well the other day? There's loads of bargains on there, wasn't there? Right, so I think that's everywhere on the flowers. And this is the colours of the one that I've got in my garden, this kind of classic pink and purple. And I've just spritzed a couple of little sprays and pop it over. So that's the flowery bits. Just going to wipe. You could do the greens for the leaves at the same time as the flower bits that pop out. The reason that I like to do it separately and then wipe off is that obviously if your pinks and greens mix together, you can sometimes get like a muddy browny colour, or it dulls them a little bit because they're mixing together. So I tend to wipe it off and start again, but whichever way works for you really. What was I saying? Yeah, I was out walking the dog yesterday and I passed a lady's fuchsia bush in her garden. I'm assuming it's a lady, I don't know who lives there, it could have been anybody. And it was the most beautiful kind of lilac-y colour, and like creams and very pale pinks, and it seemed kind of rounder and more bulbous than mine, how I've drawn mine here. It was absolutely stunning. I wish I'd have taken a picture, maybe when I pop out tomorrow, because it'll be dark when I get home. I won't be able to get a good photo if I walk the dog when I get back, but I'll take a photo tomorrow and post it on the group, because it'll be a lovely inspiration for colours for your cards. I hope that's not rude, taking a photo of somebody's flowers in their garden. Yes, how are you doing, Tracy? You feeling a bit better at the moment? So I've just gone in with 2 greens, just checking that I've got everywhere. All my leaves, and then same little spritz. That's going to help it run. And then how lovely is that already? So I'm going to go a little bit further with that and add some water with a brush, just a damp brush, and I'm going to drag out a little bit of this colour where I want to give a little bit more definition to some of these leaves and petals. You can leave it as it is if you like. There's no right or wrong here, just exactly as you want. Can you see that starts to give that painted look without you physically having to mix up colours and use paints? Although saying that, with the new paints coming out, we're going to be doing a lot of demonstrations on your watercolour painting as well. Just turning a little bit so I don't smudge with my hand. If you're finding you want areas with a bit more colour, you can always scribble a little bit on your Eureka or a glass mat and go in as if it was a paint and add a little bit more depth if you want. It's totally up to you. Amanda, am I using watercolour card? Did you mean that? I'm not singing watercolour card now. No, I'm not. I'm just using a, I think it's 300 GSM, just kind of standard cardstock. I think it might be Craft UK one. I use that a lot. They're kind of big block. But it's basically just a stamping card. It's not watercolour card. As I say, you don't have to use that. I do like to use that quite a lot, but I know that not everybody has it, so I don't use it always on demonstrations because, like I say, it makes people think that you have to, and I don't think you do. Pink and purple in your garden. Oh, you've got the pink and purple one as well. I noticed though, Karen, there's even variations of that, isn't there? So just because this pink and purple has dried now, it's going to be harder for me to drag out. So I've just added a bit more to my board so I can add a bit more colour. Little or as much as you like, but I like it to look quite loose. Singing sounds so much better, yes. I'm singing watercolour card. Sounds very dramatic, doesn't it? I think I'm pretty happy with that at the moment. But you could build up the brightness of those colours as much or as little as you liked. So I'm just going to wipe down here, get all the ink off my stamps. Now when you wipe it off, some pens and ink pads, things like that, they will stain your stamps, but please don't worry, it's no big deal. As long as you've done a surface wipe, it's not going to infringe on the next lot of stamping you do, and it causes no harm to your stamps whatsoever. It doesn't make them degrade or anything like that. So just give them a wipe over with your damp cloth or baby wipe. Just pop them back where they should be. And I really like the font in this set as well, which we'll have a look at in a few minutes when we do the sentiment. Right. Just going to give this a quick dry off before we die cut, just to make sure it doesn't smudge. Hi Maxine, don't worry if you're late, catch up in a bit. Wow, Liz, you've done some sketching of yours. I would absolutely love to see that, Liz, if you're feeling confident enough to either post it on the group or maybe pop it in a message to me on Facebook. I would love to see that. June, I'm keeping you from painting your kitchen walls. Well, this kind of painting's a bit more, I don't know, fun. Although I quite like painting the house as well. Nothing better than when you've painted some walls just fresh white and it smells all lovely, don't you think? Right then, so in your fuchsia set, if you're getting it today, then you'll know you've got outlines, 1mm outlines, and then either matte and layers, or you can use that round your stencil for all these bits. So I couldn't fit one in for the small, but I'll just fussy cut that round. That's not a problem. So let's just cut using the 1mm one for now. Joe, your grandson. Oh, we needed a nappy change, oh dear. We've just been chatting about fuchsias and singing pieces of watercolour card. Ask Amanda about that one. So just getting some low tack tape. There we go, just fit nicely to give us that 1mm border. Hold it down. You might regret asking it. No, honestly, Liz, I'd love to see you sketching. You know, if it fancy, I mean, guys, is that something that you'd like? Maybe some kind of sketching or drawing tutorials, or a little, you know, not that I'm a trained artist by any means, but, you know, could give you some tips on if you wanted to do a bit of sketching and drawing at home. Hi, David. So nice to see so many of you again. Karen saying yes, please. That for the drawing. Anything? Oh, that's so nice. Right then, let's pop those out. So that's the large spray, as it were. I think we could do anything at the moment, couldn't we, for a bit of mindfulness. And you may notice I'm wearing today my Caroline Flack t-shirt from Keith Lemon. Released it, didn't it, earlier in the year? Oh no, I think that was still a bit wet. Not to worry. My Be Kind. I'm so short, I can't see. So I don't know about you, but when we entered lockdown, the start of the year, when that happened to poor Caroline, do you feel like everybody was in this, like, we're all in it together and we're all going to be better people when we come out of this and look out for each other? And I feel like that's, I don't know, wearing off a bit, of people getting a bit bored with that. Not saying us, I think we are a lovely group of people that all support each other and look out for each other, and that's fabulous. But I don't know, I felt like I wanted reminding of that a little bit. I don't know whether anybody else feels the same. So where my tape caught that, I just want to quickly go over with a tiny bit of colour, because I don't want that to spoil it. Maxine, you rather than an art course, amazing. Oh, that's so good. So just a tiny bit more of that pink. Right, and I did just one more to cut out because I did another one. I wasn't sure how many I wanted for this card, so I did one ahead of time as well in case we needed that. Yes, Amanda, I think, yeah. It was all like fun at the start when everybody was saying, let's be supportive all together. But I feel like, I know it's a long time for people to deal with lockdown and job losses and health and all the difficult things, but I love that crafty people in our group on Facebook, and our Stamps by Me family here, we're all still so kind and nice to each other. Who's been to the supermarket? Hi Jackie, you okay? Right then, I think we've got enough now for the card. See how many we can use. Right then, the next bit, before I put all those on the card, I'm going to make the background. And was it, I missed, did anybody say it was them that asked about stamping with the confetti inks? Don't worry if you're not around or if you catch this later, but it might be something useful to the rest of you anyway. So my background that I'm putting on my card, I've pre-cut using one of the, you know, the outer dies that you get with a lot of our panels. So that fits directly onto my 5x7. And I'm going to use the stripes. So as I mentioned on the TV, I've cut mine into bits, but I am going to use them as they're intended there as 4 stripes. Just to show you, because you might not want to chop yours. I'm hoping this card's a bit flimsy. This is only like a, I don't know, maybe a 220 or something. So I hope it holds enough water and doesn't buckle too much, but you'll see the technique anyway. Right, so I've got my 4 stripes there. You can do it in one panel or chop them up, scissor cut them like I have. And then, so here's your confetti inks. So what I would say is, this is great for stamping if you don't want a very, very crisp, you know, the kind of look you get with your ink pads and things like that. You are going to get a looser look with a watercolour paint, essentially, like you would with any paint. Just pop some water on there. But that's great for backgrounds, you know, even some of your foreground images as well. It's just about the expectation that it is going to be a different look to what you get with your ink pads. But I want to try it today on these stripes. I haven't done it on these stripes before, so I hope it works. But what I find is that when I'm stamping with it, I don't want it too watery. So if I get a scrap piece, and I'll show you kind of how thick I'm talking here. If I was sometimes painting with this and I wanted a very loose look, you could almost go right down with a load of water like that. If you can see that. See, that's like a lot of water. What I want for doing it on stamps is quite a creamy kind of thick consistency. Does that make sense? So that's the kind of, I've done a few sprays and I've given it a good mix, and then it gives a good coverage. And you can stamp once or twice depending on how deep you want the colour. So then I'm going to paint directly onto the stamp. So this would work for that lovely other background you get in this set that's all kind of crisscrossy. I've tried it with loads of different backgrounds. Do you remember the starbursty ones a few months back? Have a look at Kerry's card. She did a load there. And I will just spritz, I'll try and spritz a little bit more water on just the top. I don't know whether I'll need it, but let's do it anyway. And then it should smush. Give it a second to soak into the card. Okay, I'm going to go again because I want it a little bit deeper. Now it does get shinier as well when it dries. I think I must have had a little bit of blue or something. Can you see, like a bluey green? So it's definitely a looser look, but you can build it up if you want. But it's having it that creamy consistency, not the kind of watery consistency. That helps the most. How are we doing? Anybody else joined? Susan? Okay, so we've got some areas where it's kind of caught more than others, but we've still got a shine. I don't know whether to go in maybe for a third. Why not? Let's see if we can get it even more. As I say, it's the first time I tried it with this particular stamp. I normally only have to do 1 or 2 coats when it's, I don't know, like a liney pattern. Like that. Once or twice, but because it's a quite solid, I thought I'll play around with how many coats we do, but you've got that lovely big pot, so it's no big deal. And play around with how much water you want. Right, let's dry that off now and see how the shine comes out on that. So it's like a rustic kind of look with this because the stamp is that style. Take these off. Yes, Christmas is going to be different, isn't it, for a lot of people, me included. There's normally 9 of us get together, but I don't think we're going to be allowed that, are we? So I think we'll have to split into 2. Oh, Salma, you should be seeing this on. Let's see if we can look at the shine here now. So yeah, there we go. So this card, see where it's bent a little bit, the card. I think it's because I've used one that's probably a little bit too light for this. This is about 220, so I'd go maybe 250, 300 for that kind of technique, because obviously using a bit of water. But it'll be absolutely fine. We can still use that for our card. Once it's glued down, I don't think you'll notice. So let's just pop, before we put that on our card, let's do a sentiment. So I'm going to do, out of this set as well, let's just do the Have a Beautiful Day. And I'm just going to stamp that in black, just so it stands out, and then we can arrange all our lovely fuchsias. So yeah, I think the good thing is with the confetti paints is it's like having a play and not just using them. I've seen tons of people have confetti paints from other brands and then they end up doing the same thing with them, which is great, just adding a tiny bit of detail and things like that to your finished cards. But I like to stretch things and have a go at using things in different ways, and then I think you've got more value for your products then. So let's pop that on our card blank. And I'll get all the fuchsias in ready. Oh yes, it's May round. Oh hi. The birds got your dinner, May? What happened? Just trying to find my tape. Let's get my glue and all the bits. You off, Joe? Right, so as I say, this background, because I've already cut it with one of the outline dies that come with the covers, the panels, I know it's going to fit perfectly straight away with no chopping down. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that about your granddaughters. Yeah, everybody thinks of Christmas as fun and special times, but it's not always for everybody, is it? So I want to do a combination now of kind of building this. So, you know these bits that, let me, before I stick them down, so these extra bits that you get, the two smaller pieces, they can actually be directly built up onto here. So, I don't know, maybe I should do that. I haven't done that yet on a card. Yeah, let's do that and build them up, and maybe we can slightly offset them or something. So this one I'll do behind flat. Sorry, my glue's just dried up. Ah, there we go. So that one at the top, and then that one there, and then I think I'll put the next, those other bits decoupaged up with some foam tape to give it a bit of dimension. So if I use these little ones. Yeah, don't forget to watch Sunday as well, particularly if you bought the birds. I've got another demonstration there for you with the birds that I've just done ready for Sunday. And then, as I say, next week I'll be talking about some new stuff again for November. So it's all coming round quite quick. I'm trying to figure out which one that is. That's that. Or can that one go? Oh, so that one I could put on there or on there. Let's try it. Let's build it up both. I don't normally do tons of layering up. But let's try it for a change, especially because the rest of it is quite clean and simple. I think lots of white space, so it'll be nice to do something a bit different. In fact, this would look nice even with, if you had some glossy accents or something, you could make a couple of these shiny, would look really pretty, I think. Yes, big hugs, everybody. Hugs all round today, yeah? I think we all need it, don't we? And we're all missing it. So that's the finished card. See if we can get a bit of shine on that gold. I never hold it right. There we go. So you've got those lovely gold confetti ink stripes. The technique that Tony uses for her soulful stamps with the watercolour pens. And then we've got layered up. Let's see if we can see. Can you see the texture and the dimension there with the layers? Looks really pretty as well. Marion asked, do I use wet wipes for wiping off? I do a lot for quickness in front of the camera, I must admit. There's lots of stamping cloths out there. I've got Tony's one as well. And even things like this work, like glasses cloths or microfiber cloths. The only reason I don't in front of the camera is that because I'm working quite quickly and I'm not necessarily wiping my hands in between, I do find when I'm using a wet cloth, I end up getting dirty fingerprints everywhere, and I don't want to do that in front of the camera for you guys when you're watching. But yeah, Tony's stamping cloth, which is on her website, the little pink one, or as I say, something like anything kind of microfibery that doesn't shed its fibres. But I do find when I use that at home, I have a little towel then and I dry, because otherwise I transfer. Oh dear, Sue, sorry to hear that as well. Yeah, I think we all need big virtual hugs today, don't we? Okay, so I'm going to leave you for the afternoon. So what day is it? Thursday. I'll see you at 1 o'clock Sunday. You'll have Carly as well on Saturday. At least you've got some biodegradable wipes. Yes, I need to try maybe those as well. Let's see if those work. And I hope you have all a lovely, lovely weekend. Relax, spend time with each other as much as we can. Zoom everybody who you can't spend time with. And I will see you on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Take care, guys.